Welcome everyone once again to the Spanish Breakfast Show live on YouTube Spain. I'm Skatz, and in today's show we're getting a live report from our residency expert Chris from right outside the Spanish Embassy in London to give you an update about appointments and the non-lucrative visa and everything to do with that. So welcome to YouTube Spain. Cue the music. As usual, of course, you can ask questions in the live chat over here or down there, depending on the device you're using. Or if you're not watching live, ask in the comments below and we'll get you the answers you need. My lovely wife, Liz, is looking in again under the name either U2 Yoga or U2 Aromatherapy, and you can ask her questions too. And one final thing before we begin, you can find a link below to the merchandise page, which is this link here, as you can see, that one there. You can find it below though as well, and you can get yourself a hoodie or a t-shirt like this one, or a mug or a phone case to support this channel. And I love them. I wear them all day, every day, especially at night. And so without further ado, let's meet our guest for the day. It's Chris from Upsticks. Hola, Chris.
Morning, how you doing?
Yes, I'm fine, thanks. Or maybe I should say, all right, mate, how you doing? How's the old trouble and strife? Because your life of London. Up the apple and pears, yes.
And the post has just turned up behind me as well, look.
That's a nice advert. Well, that just proves that, that you are where you are. There was a there was a DPD van behind you as well, I noticed earlier on, but he's gone now.
Yeah, it's definitely not a background.
Yeah. So tell us why you're there at the moment then, what you're doing in London.
Well, yesterday, obviously the consulate today is closed, it's Saturday, but yesterday I was here to basically meet with the people in charge of doing the appointments for the non-lucrative visas and find out some information, really some updated information about A, what's happened this year, and B, what's going to happen in 2022. You know, we can't, I'm going to be honest, they didn't know they were having a meeting with me until I turned up, but because you can't get an appointment with them and they don't answer the calls, they don't answer emails, but I ended up getting a good 45 minutes, which was great.
Brilliant. So we'll hear what you found out in a moment. I mean, everybody, of course, may have heard by now the news that the London Embassy has sprung to life suddenly after this months and months of frustration, and appointments are happening properly at last. Is that your experience on the ground as well?
It is. So what happened was, and it's something that we spoke about yesterday at quite length, was, it was widely publicised that the students were struggling to get their visas through, and hence that rolled into people not getting their non-lucrative visa appointments, and because they're prioritising students over the non-lucrative visas. And that's something that, we need to really build into your planning when you get a non-lucrative visa. If you're in the London area and your consulate is London, the summer months, I'd suspect that next year will probably be the same. It's going to be difficult to get an appointment. They said this during June, July and August. They had over 5,000 student applications to process. Wow. So, they did their best. Okay, they didn't publicly put on the website, you can't get an appointment for non-lucrative visa because we're doing so many students, which I believe they should have done and advised people. But and as for the now, they've got this new appointment booking system, which works the new email. You send your email, and then they reply with a code. The code then relates to a calendar, which you can then pick the date that you want your appointment. It is working fine. We've had our first approvals through in less than 10 days from the new system, which is great. And at the moment, they're struggling to. They're saying they get 50% of the people who are. They're struggling for a backlog of nearly 50,000 emails or something. But a lot of them are repeated. I think we spoke once about the people who registry sending emails like every single day, to try and get an appointment. That just blocks up the system, So they are going through sending emails to individuals who have sent emails last year, booking an appointment, informing them of the new system as fast as they can. And then obviously people who have learned themselves as a new system, they're getting their appointments as well.
Brilliant. So, I've got a question actually from, it's 2 or 3 questions. They're all the very basic questions that people need to know. It's Graham, who has actually 2 he's the admin of two Facebook groups. One's called After Brexit Brits who are resident in the EU 27. He likes his long titles. And the other one's called Brits living in UK and 9180 and retire in Spain. So I'm giving them a plug because they're actually a really welcoming and helpful group. And so you can find the links to those in the description below. So his questions are: do I need an appointment? Is there a waiting list? And is this the only Spanish embassy / consulate in the UK? And
Yep, you do need an appointment. You do. And at the moment, my experience yesterday was stood here watching them. After about the 45 minutes with them, I just sat outside and people watched and did a few photos and stuff. And they were very, very good and on time with the appointments. I can tell you that now. That was good. No point getting here any more than 15 minutes earlier than your appointment. I've heard of people who have been seen earlier. Yesterday, they were just bringing people in on their time. So you do need an appointment. The new booking system we mentioned, that's in place. You have to use that to get your appointment. What was the last question? Sorry.
Is this the only Spanish embassy, and any differences between the ones?
No. So you've got 3 consulates in the UK, which you can attend. You get a non-lucrative visa, and you have to go to the consulate that corresponds to your address. They've got London, Manchester, which you can talk about in a minute if you're doing a sterling job, and Edinburgh.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I will be visiting Manchester and Edinburgh as well.
Right.
So, yeah, there is differences between them, though. There is.
Yeah. We've been hearing that. Manchester apparently are the coolest, and they seem to get things done quicker at the moment. Yeah,
they are. I mean, we had a big shout for one of my clients, Craig, who got approved yesterday. Yeah, he was so happy. Literally, as I walked out, he gave me a call. I was so happy for you. 4 days. 4 days.
4 days. That's brilliant.
And that's our world record so far. You know, that was he did really well. I'm so happy for him. But and his wife. But yeah, Manchester are absolutely flying. The difference is, it's a strange one because we went quite deep into the requirements yesterday, because obviously we need to know to help people prepare their paperwork. And one of our questions was regarding marriage certificates, because obviously some people, to get the financial discount, need to be a beneficiary of a husband or a wife. And to prove that, here in London, you have to bring a marriage certificate which is legalized and translated. It's always better if that marriage certificate is a recent duplicate, for reasons I explain. And but Manchester just say no. They don't even, for some reason at the moment, we're telling everybody to take marriage certificate translated. And it's a good idea to have them when you get to Spain anyway. But the last few we've had in Manchester go, no, you don't need them. We don't need marriage certificates. And they're adamant here in London that you do. So
yeah, that's just one of those things. Manchester are just really are that lackadaisical? Is that the right, maybe, you know?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, the system is that these guys here at the consulates, they are the first port of call to see if you qualify. And if they believe that there's something in your paperwork that's not going to qualify you for the visa, they won't submit it to immigration and you won't pay. They left that clear yesterday. They're not going to go and take payment from somebody that they believe may not qualify, or they will advise you if there's a problem. So we touched on people who had previous criminal records as well, and they say, look, you will send this in, you can pay, but we can't guarantee it'll be accepted. You know, so but they don't process it here. That then gets sent to Spain digitally. It doesn't go carrier pigeon, but you know, they send it digitally. That gets approved, and then obviously they issue the visa here in the consulate.
Brilliant. I tell you what, for those people who are completely new to the non-lucrative visa, we should do a very brief overview. We've covered this in previous videos a lot, and we'll probably cover it again in future videos, but a brief overview, the finances, e-prem, who is it for, can you work remotely, etc.
Yeah, so the non-lucrative visa is, and we can categorically tell you now, it is a retirement visa. People who are coming to retire, you cannot work on a non-lucrative visa. They were very, very clear about that yesterday here in the consulate with me, because I said, well, what about, you know, no, that's it. And now, even more so, they're getting stricter and stricter on the requirements of asking for P45, asking for proof that you're definitely not going to be exercising any sort of activity when you go to Spain. Okay, so it's a retirement visa in all sense of the word. The requirements, they need the financial financial requirements start with EPREM, as you mentioned, and I can give you a link actually to an article you wrote about that. You have to have 4 times EPREM, or the income of 4 times EPREM, which meets €27,115 to qualify for the first year. If it's an individual applicant, if you are a couple, then you need to add 1 year's EPREM on top of that. So it brings it up to around 35k, either in savings or in income the first year. Though I have to say it stuck. Like, they warned me yesterday. They said, look, people who maybe are not quite of retirement age and are scraping the EPEN, right to its limit, may still be knocked back if the Spanish immigration authorities believe they're going to work, if they can't maintain themselves. So it's not a given that if you've still got, if you go in there with 27,116 instead of 115, it is down to the discretion of the immigration department if, they can see that you're definitely retiring, you're not working. So that's their baseline, the minimum.
Yeah.
Aside from that, you have to prove that you've got healthcare in place, which meets the requirements for residency. And you have to have a medical letter, which proves you've got no exportable diseases. That can be done either in Spain or in the UK. They said they've had a lot of cases here of people who have travelled to Spain on discovery trips, actually got their certificate over there, which means if you've got it over there, it's stamped. You don't have to have an apostille or translation. Bit of money saved there. And you have to have an ACRO criminal records check, which, again, we touched on that yesterday regarding people with criminal records. And basically what they said was, if the criminal record, when it gets to immigration, is considered a delito, which is a crime in Spain, then then you could get knocked back on that. They said generally, if it's something to do with violence, then it's a strong possibility you get knocked back. Whereas if it was, he actually said this, you got caught with some weed when you were 18, then it's generally not a delito, so it's fine. That's what she said. So they have people with small drug things on their ACRO. So, but yeah, they have to warn every single person who comes in with an ACRO that doesn't say no trace, that there could be a possibility that that's going to be a problem.
Fair enough.
So,
yeah, you were touching on apostilles and translations there. I'm going to give a quick plug, by the way. And normally the place where you go for apostilles is that there's an apostille. There's a government website, isn't there? But there are also some sites now which are private companies which organise it for you. And there's one particular company that I'm going to put their address up actually, and it's in the comments below as well, and it is apostille-services.co.uk. That's their website. If anyone uses that code that's up there now, Andrew APO, then you'll get discounted prices, and you'll also be slightly supporting this U2 Spain as well, because they're going to give me a bottle of wine or something like that. I don't know what they'll give me, but we're testing it out to see if anybody takes this one on, and let us know, everybody, what the service is like. They promise that it's really fast. So, and this is something that we should say. You should get all of your documents apostilled and translated. That's right, isn't it?
That's right, yeah, and I mean that's really good. I mean, if they can turn them around quick. Now, we were talking about appointment times, weren't we? And we've gone from not being able to get an appointment in London to people applying under the new system and getting the appointments or their codes too quick. So I mean, how long did it take you to get your apostille when you did it through the government website?
Through the government website, it took me 2 weeks, and that was including posting the documents back to me in Ireland. So I don't know how the postage service made that any longer. So presumably, if you're in the UK, it might be slightly shorter than that.
Yeah. So that's good. But I mean, there might be an emergency apostille, or if you need to get done, and and the good thing about it is you can get the translations on the way while the apostille is being done as well, because the apostille doesn't have to be translated.
Oh, does it not?
No, it comes in Spanish. So it comes in Spanish with other languages.
Oh, of course. Cool. We had a question down here. Let's see. Let's put this one up. James Warren says, "Hi, I'm taking a year's sabbatical from work. Will I be allowed a 1 year non-lucrative on that basis?"
Oh, good question. Again, I touched on this yesterday. So this is, people want to take this year's out and they're not retiring, but they qualify for a visa. Why can't they do that? And they said, look, you have to bring as much proof as possible with you that during the time of the first year of the visa, you will not be exercising any sort of activity. The biggest thing is, first of all, P45 to prove you're not currently working. You've got the financial stability, and anything else. And don't forget as well, you can also submit a statement, you know, with your visa application. There's nothing wrong. They call them escritos in Spanish, and it's what you write. If there's a denegation and you have to go to appeal, you write an escrito. But if you can, there's absolutely nothing wrong with writing a formal letter explaining what your intentions are and why you're presenting the documentation that you're presenting. Absolutely, you know, you can do that. So, you know, if you think that the documents that you're going to hand in to prove that you're not going to work during your sabbatical and you just want a year out are not going to be understood, then, you know, explain it in a letter, obviously in Spanish, but explain it.
Okay, so that's possible then. Good.
Yeah.
Let's go through some other questions. Here we go. Nikki Hutchman says, this was from a few days ago. My husband went to the embassy today. A note there, hold your passport for around 14 days. Apparently they didn't used to do this. What's your experience of that?
That's Manchester. So yeah, London don't hold the passport. Well, if that was London, I'd like to know, Nikki, because they told me yesterday they didn't hold passports. They said they have to come back to London to get your visa. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that she'll be talking about Manchester. Manchester at the moment are advising that they'll keep the passports for up to 2 weeks and then send them to you. So you have a self-addressed envelope you take with you. They'll send the passports back to you, or you do have the option of going back and getting it put in the passport if you wish. The biggest problem at the moment is Edinburgh. Edinburgh have got into summer London mode, as I call it at the moment. My hair's out and getting sleepless nights because people are doing their appointments and they're keeping their passports. And we've got some clients which are now 11 weeks, I think, waiting for their visas. You know, so they've got no passports. So yeah, the tricky one at the moment is Edinburgh.
Right, I've just put something up on the screen there, but it's not come up properly. It's actually from Ruth Collins. She says, Skatz, do we dare ask why Manchester turns around in 4 working days and Edinburgh around 12 weeks?
Well, if I can get my head into the Edinburgh Consulate, I'll try and find out for you. Because I'm planning on visiting them all and just, you know, finding out every bit of information that we need. But look, we think it's, reading between the lines, it has to be a local issue at the consulate, because immigration, you know, the process is they collect the documents here, you pay, it gets sent off, it gets approved, they get notifications approved, they issue the visa. So I can't see how it could be anything Spain's end. I'm sure it has to be local. That's the only explanation that we have at the moment.
Okay, so we'll find out an answer to that one, Ruth, in the coming weeks. Maybe in 2 weeks' time, you could give us your Manchester and Edinburgh updates. That would be helpful.
Yeah, I'm not too sure my wife's going to let me go to Edinburgh in 2 weeks, but I'll ask.
No. Yeah, maybe not. Right then.
I have to leave it a month.
Couple of other questions. Here we go. One from Oliver Broom. Hopefully this one will come up on the screen. Yes, I've now been told I would be able to work in Gibraltar on this visa. Is that the case?
Not from what they told me yesterday, no. No, you're not allowed to work. No. I mean,
no, whether asking,
yeah. I mean, look, the problem may be on renewal. It depends on what your source of income is. So, you know, if you come here and prove you don't need to work to get the visa, but you come to renew and it turns out you have been working, you need that income to renew a non-lucrative visa, they're not going to renew it. That's what they told me yesterday. You know, we're still yet to go through the renewal process with Brits. That's the first ones that come out this year. I was talking to one of your watchers, Ruth, yesterday about it. Hi, Ruth, she'll be watching. And and we'll say, look, we don't, you know, the process of renewal, we know what it looks like. You know, we haven't done it with Brits yet, but no, they were adamant yesterday that you can't work on it. It's a retirement visa.
Okay, okay. Next one that's just come in on the chat. Oh, this is Nerve. This is James. Hi, James. He's back with us again. He's in Spain now. He's got into Spain now on his non-lucrative visa. He's been in Seville for 3 weeks. Congratulations, James. He signed on the padron yesterday, and they said the padron certificate will take 3 weeks. I have my TIE appointment on the 12th. It's not a question. It's just giving everybody an idea of how long it's taking.
Brilliant, excellent. That's it's strange that, because it depends on the town hall. Some town halls will issue a padron in a day, at the moment, and some seem to take a lot longer. So, and depending on the situation, whether you've been previously registered somewhere else, if you have, then they have to make sure you be registered there before they give you your padron. Malaga City takes a long time to get your padron through, whereas Micas and Fingarola give you them on the day.
Okay. So, well, yeah. I hope I get mine quick, because then I'll be able to buy a car as soon as I can get mine on the padron. So, and Rochelle, good morning, Rochelle. And any news about the S1 recognised as proof of healthcare? Did they say anything to you about that?
Yes, chicken and egg. They said if the S1 had been previously registered in Spain and you've got a certificate to prove that you're registered with a social security, then you can use that as proof of healthcare. But you can't do that until you've got your visa, can you? So, no, you can't rock up with an S1 and say, this is my proof of healthcare. No, you can't. What they did say was, yeah, you could if it had been registered with social security. So, obviously, you can't register your S1 with social security until you've got your residency. So.
Okay.
That's
great.
It, yeah.
And
though I did see somebody who said, I can't remember where I saw this, that they'd managed to register with an S1 with an NIE certificate. I don't know, but yeah, in theory, can't register without residency, and you need the registration of social security if you want to use it for NLV.
Great. I just put up Rochelle's message there. You don't need a padron to buy a car. I thought you did. There we go. You learn something new every day.
You can use a rental contract to prove the padron is to prove your address, so you could use a rental contract or a property deed to prove your address.
Okay, good. And Rochelle's working on that for me anyway, so thank you, Rochelle. And we have another one from James. Can I go to the TIE appointment without a padron?
Oh, good question. Funny enough, this is something that's come up in Malaga with us, because they're asking for padrons when we're registering. It's impossible for some people to get padrons beforehand. So in Malaga, unless there's any sort of real problems with your registration on the police database and they want to prove where you live, then the first registration, they're now not asking for a padron. We always advise it's best, if you have got a padron, take one with you. If you've got any other form of proof of address, so say your padron's been registered, you've got the solicitude, but you haven't actually got the padron itself, then take that with you as well. But no, in some circumstances, for the first TIE appointment, they'll let you off with a padron. It's not a black and white answer. We'll tell everybody, yeah, take the padron if you can, but if you haven't got it, then go without it.
Yes, great. Right, another
question. We've done them without. We've done them without.
Great. Another question from the Facebook groups. I would like to know, this is Novelet Lewis, I would like to know why it's expensive to apply for the non-lucrative visa, and is there any chance any of the stipulated fees are likely to be reduced? For example, the amount required in the bank account. Also, do the funds need to be in a Spanish account, or can it be in the UK?
I'll answer it backwards. The funds can be in the UK, that's not a problem. Though, again, this is something we touched on yesterday, was they request stamped bank account statements. Now, stamped bank account statements can be hard work to get in 2021, and people have got online accounts, obviously can't get stamps anywhere. So what they said was, if you have got your money in an online account and you can't get account statements stamped, then you'd have to improve from your provider it is online only, and that's why you can't get stamps. Sorry, what was the start of the question? I'd like to know why it's expensive.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know why it's so expensive. The fees are absolutely massive. Other areas of the world, we recently had one in Switzerland, and it was €60. You know, the fee here is 516 quid. So yeah, I can't see, unless EPREM goes down, then the financial requirements will go down even.
Yeah. Fair enough. So, any other updates? We're rapidly approaching the 11 o'clock for you, 12 o'clock for us, Mark, and you've got an appointment. So, any final rounding up?
No, I think I just to round up, I think to say that I know they've had a lot of bad press in London, and it always seems like I'm defending immigration, and I'm not. But they have had a lot of bad press, where they've had a hell of a year with the students and with the avalanche of the non-lucrative visas, and that it's a very small place, and a very big area to service. But they are working on it. They're guaranteed. They're working on it. They really took the time out when I explained what I do, what we do at Upsticks, to sit down, talk to us, and actually, explain what's going on, and that they are trying to improve, and expect that, next year's going to be better than this year. So yeah, it's been real difficult for people who have done it this year, the pioneers. But moving forward, hopefully it will become more fluid.
Brilliant. Yeah. So, that's about time up. And if anybody else has any other questions, then ask them in the comments below. We can always ask them afterwards. We can always answer them afterwards, rather. So we'll say goodbye to Chris now. Thank you very much once again for all of your time and for being there on the cold London streets. And I know
see somebody drive by in a convertible. What's going on?
Ridiculous.
I know they're nice with those cars, but it's just I was like, it's cold.
It's just showing off. Yeah. Brilliant.
Okay.
Excellent. Thanks once again then, Chris. And bye.
See you later.
We'll see you.
Bye for now.
There we go. There you have it. So if you've gained some insight from this video and good information, then click on the like thumbs up below. Next week on the Spanish Breakfast Show, I'm actually going to be talking to Rochelle, who was there on the live chat there. So she is from Ask Rochelle Andalusia. That's her Facebook page. And we'll be getting all of the latest news and updates about what's happening right now in Spain, all of the things you need to know if you're here or thinking of moving here. So join us next Saturday at, we were going to start doing it at the new time of 10 o'clock if you're in Spain. I hope that's all right with you, Rochelle. And that's 9 o'clock if you're in the UK. And a lot of our viewers tend to watch this afterwards, so it's no problem for them it being 9 o'clock. If 9 o'clock is too early for you and you like to watch live, then let us know. We'll see if we can adjust it in the future. And thanks, Dave Perry from there, and thank you for saying great videos. Rochelle says 10 a.m. is fine, so that's next week's time of 10 o'clock from Spain. Don't forget to check out U2 Yoga or U2 Aromatherapy. You can get free yoga and meditation classes there online. And of course, don't forget about the t-shirts, the merchandise page, and all of those links to those things can be found in the video description below. So that is all for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe and click on the little bell below, ding, and we will see you next week. Peace and love. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Cue the music. I should have got this set up